On this week's episode of Marketing O'Clock.
Looking to punch up your audio? Meta has a VOICEterous new AI product for you. Are we fielding the love yet? Looker Studios GA4 connector update adds 170 new fields.
DS nays? Is PMax coming for dynamic search ads?
All on today's show.
Welcome, you are listening to Marketing O'Clock. Just stay tuned. Digital marketing news, but let's get specific. Digital ads, SEO and analytics, social media and more. Pretty much everything that'll make your website perform. With new shows every Friday. We give you the news with sass and puns and definitely hot takes. Thank you for tuning in. You know what time it is. It's officially Marketing O'Clock. Settle in, sit back, keep it locked.
Hey there, I'm Greg Finn.
I'm Jess Budd. I'm Nicole Waddington. And it is officially Marketing O'Clock.
Here on June 23rd, 2023. Hey everybody, I just want you to know, and I'm going to do a little disclaimer here before I get into it. There's a lot of news. It's probably going to be resolved by the time you hear this. But there was the submarine that went looking for the Titanic. Very horrific scenario where they can't be found at the moment. You know, all that. We really think about the families and all that. It's a tragic event. There's a 19-year-old on there. But I am waking up in the middle of the night thinking that I'm on the submarine. And to me, I can't think of a worse way to go where you can't stand up. You're sitting like cross-legged with four other people. Hopefully it was fast and everything like that. Again, horrific scenario. But, and like the only way you can get out is you're trying to Mario Kart your way like to the top with this thing. You're probably just like smacking the controller. You know what I mean? Like I literally woke up at 4 a.m. thinking that I was in this submarine. So I was trying to think of some of like the better ways to go.
So many better ways.
Because this to me is now my new number one worst way. Mm-hmm. And again, hopefully it was quick. All that, there are obviously risks involved. Feel terrible. What are some, like, do you want to know my number one way to go?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This sounds stupid.
Like a good way.
Yes. This is like, submarine now is the absolute last on my list. Mm-hmm. Number one on my list, grizzly bear fight. A grizzly bear fight. Like I'm fighting a grizzly bear. I like the fact that with this scenario, I've got a chance. Right? Small chance.
Yeah. But
there's a chance. Like I like that element of like, hey, maybe it's 1 out of a million times. Maybe I like gouge an eye or something like that.
You ever see that movie The Gray?
No.
You are the end to that film, and it's the most devastating thing I've ever seen.
But like, what if I won?
We don't know how The Gray ends. Liam Neeson's surrounded
You
by
just
wolves.
ruined it.
No one's. It's the
but
oldest
isn't this
movie.
the way to best ways to die?
Yeah,
so
I want to
that's
go.
your outcome. You die.
Yeah, because I'm dying either way. Yeah. Give me a chance.
Give you a fighting
chance. I can't like.
And
I
it's
can't,
bad. People be like, Greg Finn fought a grizzly to death.
Like a mountain lion will crush me. I get it. Like a grizzly bear is gonna get me, but like maybe there's a chance.
Punch him in the snout.
Maybe
first.
I could do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just want that something. I just want like a little teeny bit of a chance.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But like a shark, I got no chance. Like a great white, what am I going to do?
You ever see Tomb Raider? She just punches it in the nose and swims.
You ever see Deep Blue Sea?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we've been talking about that film a lot. It's great.
All right. How would you go?
I only get one. The ultimate way to die, and I have a Spotify playlist for this called Songs to Crash a Car To. I'm working on it. It's highly curated. There's only like 6 on there.
I need this playlist. Just so you know, there's nothing I've needed more in life than this
I will share it with you. So here's the thing. I don't like when I talk about dying and it being exciting. I have a child. I have a husband. I don't want anyone to miss me. I'm living in a vacuum in these scenarios, right?
Yes.
And I would love to crash a car, but I don't want to hurt somebody in the other car. So on my commute home, I go down essentially the side of like this cliff, right? And I'm just coming down into my village and there's big turns. And every time I make that one turn, I just think about if a great song was on and I just kept going and sailed. And I'm just listening to the right music and I crash. I don't give a fuck. It'd be awesome. That's how I want to go.
You got to do that when you're like 99.
Fine. I'll wait until then. I will work on this playlist
We gotta
until
plan
then.
it. Nobody can get hurt.
Yeah, I don't
Other
want
than you.
anyone to get hurt other than me, but I just feel like at a high rate of speed with a good song, you could either hit a wall and it'd be great, or you could just sail into
This
oblivion.
is a really dark show.
But I'm excited about it.
All right,
Whatever. Nicole?
Yeah. Getting bit by a vampire.
Those aren't real.
Oh, that's good though.
Yeah.
If they were real.
If
Yeah.
they're real, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You get to bleed out and live forever.
Yeah, and you get to like just rock. Like a zombie would be the worst.
Yeah.
I know.
Because then you're just like
know
perpetuity, just
anything.
roaming. But
Mhm.
you're like that. You're gonna get a cool cape. It's gonna be great. Another couple honorable mentions I've heard in the past. This wasn't mine. This isn't an original thought, but like being on one of those flying wingsuits and just like hitting something hard.
Cliff
But it's like-
diving.
Mm.
But those wingsuits where
Yeah.
you're flying
Yeah.
along, like that'd be fast. It'd be
You get a
pretty
good
fun.
view.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. All right. Enough of me and my nightmares that literally kept me up for 2 hours at 4 a.m. today. I digress. Let's get to the marketing news. We've got a jam-packed show for you here. We're recording a little earlier than we usually do here on Wednesday. But Nicole, I know that you've just looking ahead at your notes here. I know you've got some good news for fellow marketers.
yes. So Looker Studio has rolled out a major update to its system, unveiling 170 new fields for reporting. But in order to access this new data, you just need to make sure that you're refreshing your GA4 data sources. So some of these new fields include landing page plus query string, page location, page refer, session conversion rate by event name, and time dimensions like hour a week. And all of these seem very basic to me. Like these existed in UA, and UA is sunsetting, and by the time you're listening to this, about a week.
I know.
And it's crazy that you're just getting these fields, but we have them now. Refresh your data sources. And if you haven't, set up your GA4 instance.
Yeah, we're 8 days away, and it's like, all right, we can finally get landing page to pull in to Looker Studio. And before you had to find like first page source, then like this is a disaster.
Unbelievable. Do we
Yeah.
think that there's a chance that come July 2nd, UA is still working?
I know people keep like saying that that's going to be the case. I don't think so. I think this is just a huge miss on Google's behalf, and they cannot tell me otherwise. Looking at this product, this is not a fully baked product, and we can see because it's June 23rd here today, and we are just getting the ability in their own reporting system that's already constrained through API rate limits that we can finally see a landing page. You cannot tell me that that is a planned like, oh, this is our go-to-market product. No, they're pushing it out as is. I don't see them. It would be great if they're like, hey, surprise, you now have till 2024. Don't think that's going to happen whatsoever.
No, I feel like they probably would have told us by now because they would want the pat on the back for being smart.
This is not ready
Yeah.
for, human consumption at the moment.
They gave us a year's notice. They could have pushed harder to get it ready. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
they could have pushed
That's
harder.
the
They
thing.
could have
They
made
worked
it
hard to
something.
put that egregious red box
Ugh.
every
And that
single time you
countdown
go
timer?
in. Yes, but not to put fields like this like 6 months ago.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. The writing has been on the wall for a long time. And now I guess we have more writing on the wall where Mike Ryan at Mike Ryan Retail, great follow on Twitter, says it has a screenshot from Thomas Excel. I don't know. Thomas, let us know. But Mike says DSAs are, quote, upgrading, end quote, to PMax. And he says, we all know that euphemism. It's like when mom and dad send the dog, quote, to the farm. This is a long anticipated move. And if you look at the recommendations here, it's using that very googly verbiage when they want you to do something, saying upgrade, right? Not change, not anything like that. Upgrade your search DSA campaigns to Performance Max. Get more conversion value by upgrading your search DSA campaigns to Performance Max. And then the final description says, upgrade your eligible search DSA campaigns to Performance Max. I don't know why they keep repeating that. And then it says,
They want you to do it.
I know. Yeah, it says, your existing asset settings and budget will be used to create new Performance Max campaigns. I'm assuming when they're talking about assets, they're going to just reach into other campaigns and grab things. Or if you have image assets, they're going to use those. But then where does the video come through? Are they just going to make that video asset? And the other thing that to me seems disingenuous with this is it is a very different product, right? Like search DSA campaigns or dynamic search ads. You put in some URLs or a full website or a category of your website, and it'll go out, read what's on those pages, and then create ads, and you can make that description and it'll make the headline. This Performance Max is almost like the exact opposite of that, where you can either, I guess, give your whole website, and maybe that's what it's doing. But if you've got search DSAs that are targeting specific categories, Performance Max does not allow you to target a specific, there's like no regex in Performance Max. You can say, go to the final URL that you have there, or you can use exclusions to try to guide what content you want Performance Max to use. So it's almost like the inverse of DSAs, where you can put in all these different sections of your site. Performance Max, you almost have to like block all these sections of your site. So I'm very interested to see if somebody did choose this, if it would try to target. I don't know why it would. I would imagine it would just do across the full site and not to the final URL. But it just seems odd to me to try to convert that, because it works almost the exact opposite when you're trying to get to a location.
Yeah, just say that you're sunsetting DSAs and you recommend Performance Max.
Yeah, and I'd imagine they'll just be like, go to any page on the site. But if you have certain restrictions now, you just literally cannot bring that over, because you're targeting, not excluding, if that makes sense.
The whole thing. I mean, what you're saying makes sense. It does not make sense.
Yeah, and we've seen some DSA performance drop, especially like April. So a bunch of them have come back. But, it's one of those things, when Google wants something to work, it will work. Right or wrong, they make it work.
Up next, from Meta, introducing VoiceBox, the most versatile AI for speech generation. And I don't know if you've ever met AI you didn't like. I think we all have.
Bard.
And this one could suck too. We don't know. It's still pretty early on in development, and it's calling itself a research project. It does seem pretty cool with the details that we have. So what can it do? It can have, it does in-context text-to-speech synthesis. So it can use an audio sample as short as 2 seconds long to then match the audio style and use it for text-to-speech generation, which is neat. There's a video associated with this article as well that I'm assuming is using the technology, and it's really weird because it like ends with, I think we can do pretty cool things with a tool like this. It's very, very strange, but sounds very natural. Speech editing and noise reduction. Tables, you might like this. You can recreate a portion of speech that's interrupted by noise or replace misspoken words without having to re-record. We could definitely benefit from this because we're flubbing all the time.
Yeah.
They describe it as an eraser for audio editing, and the example they gave was a dog barking in the background. But like, think about our old studio and all the noises we had. This would have been super cool just to get rid of that.
Yeah, Tables and Victoria made me record this video yesterday. They like forced me against my will to make this video.
Yeah.
And I re-listened to it. I didn't have time to re-record it, but it sounded like I was like gargling. So we need to get this voice box on there, Tables, so I don't sound like I'm gargling like an ogre the whole time.
Yeah, just rinse in your throat, some salt water. A couple other cool things it can do: cross-lingual style transfer. So you give a sample of someone's speech and a passage of text there's certain languages this works in. So I'll name those: English, French, German, Spanish, Polish, and Portuguese. So a sample in any of those, it can then produce a reading of the text you provide in any of the other languages in the same voice, which is really cool. And then they say it has diverse speech sampling, which can generate speech that's more representative of how people talk in the real world, because it has a diverse set of data that it's been learning from in, again, those 6 languages. So still under development, but I could see how this could be really cool for creators, professional communicators. If you have clients in another language or in another region that speak another language, you want to talk to them, could be really cool. And it's game changing for NPCs. Pun intended. I don't know. I just feel like, again, it's got probably a long way to go, but voiceover on Fiverr might be a thing of the past if you can just do this.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, things are getting good.
Things are getting really good.
Yeah, and I know I talked about it last week in the must-read marketing article of the week, but Fred Valles had an awesome I didn't talk about Fred's, but He had an awesome presentation where he basically wrote a bunch of text. He went to Mind Journey, turned it into a video, and then put it in his own voice. You can still get that over at searchmarketingexpo.com/SMX/advanced. It's called like Dominating with GPT or something like that. But it's getting really good. Like a lot of this. I know Tables, you made that one track where it was a robot Jess talking, which is fun.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this.
Yeah, could be cool.
All right, and there are changes coming to Merchant Center. There are a few changes that are beginning immediately. So there are new countries where shipping cost is required. Those countries are Denmark, Portugal, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Slovakia, Greece, Hungary, Romania. And then there's going to be 3 countries where it will be coming soon: Brazil, India, and New Zealand. So if you do not have your shipping costs in your feed at the shipping attribute, you will not be eligible for auction in those countries. Additionally, if you have product that's certified by something, like let's say it's like energy efficiency labeling, there's a new certification attribute that will be available in the feed, and it can have authority, the name, and then the code that your certification like hits, which is awesome. And then this is just a weird one, but if you have local inventory ads and the free local listings, you are required to have the quantity attribute, and the availability attribute was optional. Now it's the opposite. So they're going to switch it to say you need to have the availability attribute and the quantity attribute optional. I don't know why they're just switching it up, but they are. So if you sell local stuff, just be aware. And then they're going to have you supply an expiration date if there's a product that's expiring. So let's say like limited time products that end at the end of the week or something like that, flash sales, things like that. And then the biggest change is that if you misuse the out of stock availability with your Merchant Center products, all your ads are going to be disapproved, or all those products are going to be disapproved. People have been in the past putting it as out of stock when they really just wanted to pause it from making it into the feed. If you put it as out of stock and it's really in stock, it's going to be disapproved. Google did come out with that pause attribute, and that's a way that you can toggle things on and off. So you have to use pause. You can't just be like the availability is out of stock if you are still selling it on your site. So I think that's the biggest takeaway for people that could get in trouble. And then obviously all those new countries that have to have that shipping price.
Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a #fire digital marketing take with extra spice served up for you. We simply deliver the take for your consumption. We give no opinions. We don't influence. You make the call.
This week's Take of the Week comes from Menachem Ani, who basically started a thread from a quote tweet he had from Hey, It's Alex P, where Alex said, "Feels like a key to success with meta ads is having the courage to do nothing." And Menachem said Google Ads too. And then Corey Kohler chimed in and said, "Might be the top on the list of the modern Google Ads management list of advice. The urge is strong to tinker, especially for an old school Google Ads manager like me who had more levers to pull back in the day." And here's the take of the week from Menachem. He says, and this is a quote from a client, "I looked at the change history and I don't see any changes," unquote. To which Menachem says, "Yes, that's purposeful." Right? Like it's doing what we want it to do. We got it set up.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You see so many times people just tinker around in there and just change things, get back to learning mode. Like if it's like, yeah, we got it going. Yeah. You don't have to make a change every day. 100%. Love it. That's like front runner for my take of the year.
Now it's time for this week's ICYMI.
ICYMI, people.
This is something you just might not have seen. Maybe something that you overlooked, but you shouldn't have.
All right, this week's ICYMI is from Bree E. Anderson at Bree_E_Anderson. And let me just start off by saying Bree is a must follow on Twitter for all things analytics, especially GA4. And she's always sharing helpful tips when it comes to transitioning your accounts to GA4. This week she tweeted, "Please, for the love of anything good, puppies, babies, chocolate, etc., double check this right now. if you connected your UA and GA4 accounts, you still need to opt out of auto migration. And she includes a screenshot of a Google Help article. And this was big. I did not realize that after you've configured your GA4 property, if you're a good advertiser and you're prepared for the migration, you still need to make sure you opt out. Otherwise, they're going to migrate your UA settings into GA4, even though you've already set up your GA4 the way you want it to be. So I flagged it to our data team. We'll be checking all of our clients' accounts for this, but make sure you check yours.
Thank you for flagging that to our data team.
Now it's time for this week's
Pew, pew.
lightning round. At this point in the show, we split up our content into 3 parts: paid, organic, and social.
This week in paid news, first up, Mike Ryan at Mike Ryan Retail tweeted, "Sorry for this horrible pick, but receipts. As you know, PMax is coming to Microsoft Ads. You might not know that it has more metrics in the placements report. This takes direct aim at Google's very black box-ish placements that share impressions but nothing else. Will Google follow suit?" And then it looks like he includes what's a screenshot from a Microsoft presentation with the announcements. And under differentiators, it says, "We are adding more reporting metrics to our version of Performance Max, having received feedback that impressions does not give enough visibility." So I'm a little skeptical of like Performance Max on Microsoft anyway, just because their automated bidding and keyword matching suck. But if this means that it'll up the ante and, push Google to build out its reporting a little bit, that's a win, I think.
My biggest gripe with this is that they're calling it Performance Max. It is a dumb name. Like you don't need that name.
They could have reinvented it. And made it
You can call it your AI solution, something better than Performance Max.
I think they just want people to be excited. I think they think people like performance.
But nobody's gonna be excited over like a clone copycat. You know what I mean? Make it like, I don't know, Awesemo Max, something. I don't know, something.
AMAX?
Love it.
And then next up in paid, we have Anthony Higman at Anthony Higman on Twitter. He said, "Just spotted Google adding new verticals to healthcare in the local service ads platform. And with this, I'm starting to believe more and more that in a few years, it will only be local service ads and PMax as options for advertising on Google." And he includes a screenshot with all the new healthcare services options.
I don't think he's wrong. He's smart. That Tony Higman's a smart one. Tony, we trust.
And more from Google Ads. Store sales reporting and bidding are now available across Performance Max campaigns. So this will allow advertisers to measure total sales, whether the customer shopped on the web, an app, or in-store. This will give advertisers smart bidding capabilities that optimize your Google Ads for store sales conversions, holistic measurement with ROAS calculations for both online and offline conversions, and alignment of reporting methodology across store visits and store sales, so you can gain insights into store visit to purchase rate by campaign. And I will just say that this Google Help article said omnichannel 9 times. It's a pretty short article too. And last in paid, Walmart Connect, the retailer's U.S. advertising division, is beta testing a new in-store advertising format, according to details shared with Marketing Dive. So this includes in-store demo stations to help drive brand discovery and conversions, and adding a QR code to carts that can link out to custom Walmart.com landing pages. They also have the Walmart Radio Network, which is a station that broadcasts in stores, and this is also going to have ads for the first time, letting buyers target their upper funnel messages to specific locations and markets. The article also mentioned that Walmart is the largest brick and mortar retailer in the world, so definitely some big opportunities for advertisers to get in front of an audience while they're in store.
That's when I'm trying to unwind. It's always just WRN. That's always listening to. The Walmart Radio Network. Can you believe that? Like, do you think there's multiple? Like, network makes it seem like there's more channels.
Yeah, there's
That's
just
a good point.
They're forcing like 2,000 soft rock on you while you shop in Walmart.
Yeah.
Forcing.
Oh.
Spoon feed me, baby.
Have
It's
you
fine.
tuned in to the Illinois WRN?
No.
It's amazing. It's so good. It's so good.
A lot of corn.
Yeah.
And I like Eric Sufer at Eric_Sufer on Twitter replied to the tweet of this article and said everything is an ad network,
He's
which
not
seems
wrong.
to be true.
All right. And heading into our organic section this week, we are greeted by Anthony Higman at Anthony Higman on Twitter. And he says, he screen grabbed a story from Forbes. It says, Google warns employees about chatbots, including its own Bard, out of privacy concerns, the report says. And Anthony says, wait, wasn't this just added to all Gmail and Workspace accounts? Exclamation, question mark, exclamation, question mark. Yeah. You hit Google. Like, I love how they're being like, oh, AI is going to power everything. You're going to use AI to get better ads. Oh, we're going to use all your advertisers' data. Oh, we're going to put it in your Gmail, read every single email you get. Oh, but also, like, hey, guys, this might not be good. this whole thing, like, it might not be good.
Might
like,
not.
you know, maybe don't use Bard. I don't know. I just thought that was a funny juxtaposition there. Okay, RIP in peace to Google Domains. 8 years after Domains launched, it is now being sold off to Squarespace. So Google Domains was one of those forays into product that actually worked well. It was a great interface. They had a lot of different vanity URLs. It was one of the better, like, just interfaces in general, and Google's just done with it. And from the article from Ars Technica by Kevin Purdy, I think Buffalonian, I believe, he says, 8 years after Google Domains launched, a little more than a year after it graduated out of beta, Google is, quote, winding down a transition period, unquote, as part of, quote, efforts to sharpen our focus, unquote. That's corporatese for we need to keep cost cutting. So we're selling this business we just finished shaping up to Squarespace. There is nothing wrong with Google Domains.
I use it. I haven't received an email either about this. I'm a little concerned.
Like, that is a good long-term play.
And it makes sense.
And at some point you can build a solution around it. You have a jacked up analytics solution that might be usable someday. Like, you could offer that like there is nothing but upside here. And they just took this thing and are putting it away.
Couldn't just hold on to it.
No. And I just loved this section of the article from Kevin. He says, however clean and orderly a transition the two companies try to emulate, the sale cannot help but further Google's image as a company that readily gives up on projects that aren't core to its advertising business, even those that have matured and would seem to encourage a tie-in with Google accounts. I'm sure whoever started Google Domains is no longer at Google, and that's why everybody's so dumb there that they can't see like a tie-in and be like, oh yeah, we can come up with a product here. Oh, we can, help them advertise their domains. Google just cannot do product. They cannot do product, as we've seen time and time again. Their only thing that they can do well is ads. That's it.
Team Paid is like shaking their heads right now, but yeah, go ahead.
Right? Like, there's not name. They just shut down Stadia. They didn't even tell their developers before they shut it down. You're like, hey, go build all these games. Take all of the only thing you have in life, time, and build games for Stadia. They don't even tell them they're shutting it down. They can't make. They're like, Google Plus is it. They got everybody. It's Plus, everything. It's circles. It's the future. They shut the thing. Everything just gets shut right down. That's what happens.
Nobody's arguing with you. We were just laughing that they make a good ads product.
Well, it's, debatable.
It's an ads product.
All right. And from Barry Schwartz, I just loved how he finished this article. He's like, there are now 13 different options that you could turn off in your business, in your My Business profile. And it's
I
over.
like that he wants you to turn them off.
Yeah, to turn on or off. He said, to be fair, he said on or off.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of different things. I just say off because like you probably.
I agree. Look at these. Turn them all off.
Customer messages, reviews, question and answers. There's all these different email notifications. And at the end of his article, he's like, I think this is new, period. Love you, Barry. Okay, and from Twitch, we talked about it a few weeks back that Twitch was trying to eliminate the ways that a bunch of tweakers, what do you call them?
Tweakers are like meth heads, right?
Twatches. So a bunch of ways that the Twitch folks could monetize. You could only have a certain number of pixels to show messages, and you couldn't like burn in ads. They now have the Partners Plus program, and that's going to offer 70% share on net subscription revenue to streamers who meet the qualification criteria. And you have to have, I think, 350 recurring paid subscriptions for 3 consecutive months. And once that happens, you're going to be a Partner Plus program. But a lot of folks are leaving Twitch because again, the writing's on the wall, and there's more writing on the wall, and people just keep writing over the wall that they hate you over on Twitch and whatever.
Oh, that's what happens when you call them twatches.
What would you say?
That.
What's the right way to call?
I like
Twitchers?
Twitch folks.
Twitch folks.
Twitch folks was good.
And from Brittany Mueller at Brittany Mueller on Twitter, she has a tweet that says Google, and then it is all crossed off this next section here. Report automatically created content. And then it reads underneath it, report spam. And it's a link to the reporting tool where you can, show a website that's spammy, deceptive, low quality, something like that. And now on that page, I think this is new. I haven't seen that before. I'm not a narc. I'm not a narc.
Yeah.
I don't narc out paid links or bad sites. If something's dangerous, I might, but like whatever.
It's called the internet. Get over yourself, right? Not you.
But now you can put in that page URL, and one of the options that you can choose from is you can say that this spammy, deceptive, or low quality web page, it says what exactly happened here. And there's now a bubble you can check that says automatically generated content. To which I thought was funny, a response to Brittany from Casey Mraz at Casey Mraz on Twitter said, should you also use this to report the scraped content from Google's generative AI results?
Touche.
Okay, from John Mueller, we're just going to keep it Mueller-centric here for these last two. He says, fire emoji, 302 redirects are fine, fire emoji. Focus on me, not on John. If you are moving a site and you're permanently redirecting a site, do not listen to this Googler's advice. He's saying use a temporary redirect, aka a 302 redirect. And I'm telling you to not be a fucking idiot and to use a permanent redirect when a page goes from one page permanently to another page. Yeah, 302 redirects are fine for temporary redirect. And just do what the redirect is meant to do. I don't care about Google. I don't care. If you're permanently moving something, just permanently move it and be done.
Right.
And nobody should ever take this to anybody. Be like, well, he said it was fine. He said that they're fine. Sure, they're fine. They're fine. But use things the way they're supposed to be used.
You go on vacation? Do you have your mail forwarded? No. You move to another house? Permanently?
Permanently.
You have your mail forwarded.
Changed, even some say. Yeah, like your address changed. Yeah. I don't know. It's just these things out of context. Like, sure, they're fine.
They're fine, but what's with the double fire emojis? You think you're being revolutionary and you're giving people bad advice.
And just to be clear, this makes you, Google, look like a f***ing idiot too. Like you're like, oh, they're fine, these temporary things. No, you should be helping. Like, there's a way to do something. When your page is gone forever, you should use the thing that's used for being gone forever. Permanent.
Yeah, makes sense. Maybe it's the fire emojis are like, this is fine.
This is what's going to happen. And everybody in the agency is shaking their head right now. They're going along with the beat on this. Some client is going to come and be like, well, we can only do, what about 302s? I have this tweet here that there's a fire and 302s are fine, and there's another fire at the end. It's like, I don't care. Do the thing the right way. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. You shouldn't care about what John Mueller has here. If you're redirecting something that is going to be gone forever, it should be a permanent redirect, because that's what permanent means.
Did he just tweet this out of nowhere? Also, this isn't a reply to anything. He's just out there tweeting.
I don't know.
But that's important. I feel like that is important. If somebody was like, I could only do 302s, oh my God. And he's like, that's fine, whatever. That's one thing.
But
just a tweet.
Just imagine, I'm like, hey, everybody, Cypress North, what we're going to do here is we are going to start going on a red light. We're just going to go for it on a red light. All right? And you know what? If it's a green light, just feel free to stop. Everything's fine. Green lights are fine. Red lights are fine. Fucking yellow lights, take them. I don't care. They're all fine. Everything's fine. No, you have rules and ways to do stuff. It's too much. Just stop it.
That's what I mean. Why did you just put this out there?
And I don't care if
no
you're Google.
reason?
You're not better than the internet. You're just a little company that isn't even going to be here in 10 years because you're running yourself into the ground. Next up.
You all right?
Yeah, we got John again.
Do you want an aspirin or something?
No, I'm great. I just want everyone. I'm always great. It's
We know.
I worry about all these agencies that are now going to have these pointless conversations because they saw some message there from somebody that is literally not the internet. You're a spokesperson for Google. All right, well, let's keep it here with John here. And this is something I sincerely agree with John. Somebody, Fabrizio Ballerini, said that it was talking about redirects, right? And he didn't say whether they're 302s or 301s or any of that nonsense. But there was a conversation from John Corellis and said, hashtag SEO squad. Somebody recently asked me if it was beneficial to launch a new domain a bit before the migration and redirect the whole thing a bit later. I suppose a couple of weeks. I saw TransferWise did this too. Is it a good idea? And John Mueller says, reduces the risk, IMO. Do you know the best time to launch your new website? The best day?
No.
Yesterday. Get it up fast. If you've got something new that you can put up temporarily, 100%. Why wouldn't you do this? Like, always. And then let it get indexed and then redirect everything over after that. Do your change of domain. Like, do all that. Like, it's fine. Get it up now. Everybody's always waiting. There's no waiting with domains. Let's just get it going. Yesterday. You know what's even better than yesterday? 2 days ago. All right. And lastly here from Microsoft News on Twitter, they say, get ready for a ride. At Mercedes-Benz is bringing ChatGPT into its vehicles, providing drivers and passengers with even more intuitive voice control. So if you're a Mercedes-Benz driver, you can now GPT on the Geo.
Wow.
Yeah.
To quote you yesterday, thank goodness.
I just can't imagine. Like,
I like that the passengers can do it too. Mm-hmm. Stop the car. Could you imagine if you were driving and you yelled?
I think it's it just shuts down.
Backseat drivers are moving up, baby. I know that's not what this is. But I don't know what this is either. Shall we do social? Mm-hmm. Here's a tweet from Elon Musk. Accounts that try to game our verification system with sequitur self-promotion or advertise in a misleading way will be suspended. So take that. Somebody replied with, what is non sequitur self-promotion? And Elon's super helpful response was the opposite of sequitur. And here I am at midnight, because we're recording early, Googling what the fuck any of this means because I'm a dumbass. And non sequitur is a conversational literary device often used for comedic purposes. So thank you, Elon, for being helpful while you're funny. It's basically, you list like things and then the outcome doesn't make sense with the things. It doesn't matter. The point is it's an unwarranted leap or logic. So I guess if you're just being on Twitter, you can be suspended. I don't know. I
like how we all just like got a little lesson of education into the mind of Jess by like, oh, here's a word.
Do you know what I was doing while I was Googling this?
No, what were you doing?
I was watching Gone in 60 Seconds. the Nicolas Cage version.
Oh, with Angelina Jolie, right?
Love her so much. Sticking with the bird, congratulations to Twitter Blue subscribers because you can now tweet a tweet with up to 25,000 characters. You can ask yourself who's going to type that and who's going to read it, and it sounds like bullshit, right? Wrong, because if you pair it with the new inline image functionality that also rolled out to Bluebirds last week, you basically have a blogging platform. You can write a blog post on Twitter. So if you're there, this might be useful to you. That's a thing.
I have a confession to make.
I would love to hear it. How many days since your last
Well, which
one?
confession do you want? The Twitter one?
What else you got? Yeah.
I thought I was going to hate the change from 140 to 280. And I thought I was going to hate the change to like long form tweets.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Right.
Like sometimes it's interesting and I'll look, most of the times I just pass right by them.
Yeah.
Like it's nice that you don't have to see the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also nice I don't have to read a freaking thread and that somebody can respond to the entirety of an article and you don't have to look at all the different threaded tweets to try to figure out who's responding to what. I kind of like it. I would have said 100% probability I hate it, but I like it.
Yeah. It is the death of the thread emoji, which was really feeling
It's
its
too
heyday.
much, yeah.
We could put it in memoriam for the clockskers if we remember. But beyond that, like, who gives a shit? Write it, read it, or don't. Next up, TikTok is preparing to break into online shopping with what they've dubbed internally as Project S. And I imagine that S stands for retail. From
Probably.
the Financial Times, TikTok is expanding its online retail offerings. Its parent company, ByteDance, is selling products through the viral video app, challenging rivals such as Shein, it's Shein, right? And Amazon. So in recent weeks, UK users have begun to see a new shopping feature within TikTok that is called Trendy Beat. And it is a section offering items that have proven popular in videos such as, here's the examples from the article, extracting earwax or brushing off pet hair from clothing. I think I have both those problems, but I don't use TikTok. So the model is similar to how Amazon makes and promotes its own range of products. So there's like Amazon branded stuff. That's essentially what they're doing here. And according to internal sources, ByteDance is using, this is pretty smart, TikTok's knowledge of things that are going viral to acquire those products or make a version themselves. And it sounds like they're doing it fast enough for this to actually work, which is crazy and awesome. They've also recruited some employees from Shein to help them do this right. TikTok said, confirmed to the Financial Times that it is currently testing the feature. We're always exploring new ways to enhance our community's experience, and we're in the early stages of experimenting with new shopping features. So again, you can shop on TikTok, but this is like TikTok branded stuff based on what's trending. So we'll see. It's being tested in the UK. I didn't see anything about it being in the US, but if you see it, interesting things to come. From Lindsay Gamble at _Gamble on Twitter. New LinkedIn now separates post engagements and mentions in posts in notifications post, similar to Twitter. It's a mouthful, but basically your notifications are being separated whether you are mentioned in something or if it was an engagement on your own post. Lindsay also says, I can see LinkedIn adding a tab for creators who are top voices, like the verified tab for users subscribed to Twitter Blue. It's interesting, and I also think it's nice for people with no time if they want to sort through what's important to them. Key engagements one way or the other. It's a nice way to kind of segment things. Speaking of LinkedIn, the platform said late last week, this is a quote, "Thanks to your invaluable feedback, we've learned that some of our creation tools aren't facilitating your ability to share all of your amazing experiences and expertise with our community. This includes carousels, profile video, and the ability to embed clickable links with an image or video to your posts. So starting June 26th, we will be removing these tools, though your current posts will still be viewable." So RIP in peace. I hope you didn't like those features because they are going away. Moving on to Meta, some new for creators. They've added an inspiration hub. Everything is a hub. It's in the professional dashboard. It'll showcase popular reels, hashtags, topics, and music if you need inspiration. They also have a new templates hub in the Reels Composer, things that are trending and popular that you can use then to create your own reels. They've also made it easier to create said reels. They're combining audio, music, and text in a unified editing screen. If you need help with your timing, you can do it all in one place.
Can we just call Reels video at this point?
I think we should.
Can we
Yeah.
just call it video?
Yeah, let's be real. Haven't used that before. So better data is coming to the professional dashboard. So there are some metrics that were previously only available in the Meta Business Suite, such as page and profile level reel insights on reach and interactions, followers attributed to a reel, distribution health, and retention graphs. Those will now also be in the professional dashboard. So if you use that, that's great for you. And they have plans to roll out new metrics as well to that dashboard that will show creators how their accounts are performing at a more granular level. So interactions and consumptions by format, followers, non-followers, etc. And if you are creating something amazing, people might want to keep it. Now they can, because Instagram will allow users to download publicly posted Reels content. So if you see a reel that you like and you want to save it to your camera roll, you can. Creeps rejoice.
How many of you saved so far?
0. I haven't opened the app in a while.
Now it's time for this week's WTH.
Misguided.
I hated all of that.
Like, who does that?
Just get rid of it.
Where we rant, rave, and roll our eyes about a trending digital marketing topic.
What are we coming to?
Honestly.
See what had us asking
WTH.
this week.
This week's WTH comes from Jeffrey_Coyle on Twitter. Jeff Coyle. And Jeff says, slang-related plagiarism stew is my at Google SGE, Google AI Gawk of the Week. We don't need as many hashtags, Jeff, just for the record. But he says, the example given here made my month. What exactly is the father implying? And he gives a hat tip to Garrett Sussman and Vavram Pitch. It looks like Jeff put into Google SGE, what does down to clown mean? And Google SGE came back with the fact of saying, quote, down to clown, end quote, is a slang expression that means someone is willing to do something. For example, a father might say, quote, she is down to clown, end quote, to imply that his daughter is willing to engage in sexual tomfoolery. Period.
I have a
problem
here. I have several.
What is going on? What's happening with SGE? Like,
You could have used any word that wasn't father.
and then how does the dad know that the daughter's interested in this tomfoolery? Like, is he like, what is going on with it? Like, what an example that you chose, SG. You're just like, yeah, like, just like out there in the streets, just talk to dad and be like, hey, Tabitha, she down to clown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my daughter. Tomfoolery.
Yeah.
No. No.
It's like, I still haven't come to grips with the fact that it is still, SG is still so bad from a user experience standpoint. Like, it is still unusable. They're going to launch it in 2024, it seems. Nobody is going to use this thing. There are no links. There's no way to get more information. There's no way to click on product and just get there. There are so many more clicks. It's a disaster. But the only thing that is really good at is moments like these.
I agree.
Yeah?
This is good for entertainment value.
Yeah.
Down to clown.
It's the only thing it's really down to clown for.
And that brings us to our real life segment. Straight out of our accounts and into your ear holes. It's time for Working Hard or Hardly Working, where we talk about what's going on in our IRL work, good, bad, or otherwise.
Right. This week's Working Hard or Hardly Working for me is working hard Microsoft email alerts for auto apply. So got an email the other day from Microsoft Advertising with the subject, new recommendations will auto apply soon for account, and then it has the code and name of the account. I just, don't like auto opt-in, but I appreciate that you're at least sending an email to me about it compared to some other ad platforms. So working hard.
This is the same platform, though, that was like, yo, if we didn't email you to get verified,
That's true.
call us. Hidden in a blog post. So, yeah.
All right. Something working hard. I talked about it last week in the must-read marketing article of the week. I was talking to Corey Henke, and we had the presentation that I thought was one of the best at SMX Advanced last week. In-feed YouTube, we've transitioned a bunch to in-feed. It's really fun. It's cool. You can choose like a thumbnail or specific images. And as Corey says in the presentation, it's more of a lean in than like a more kind of passive viewing of things. And it's awesome. I'm like really digging it so far and going to put a lot more effort towards in-feed moving forward.
So for me, I don't know if this is working in any way. I'm just going to leave it here because we've talked a lot about attribution and GA4 and the madness that is. But I was looking at the attribution model comparison in GA4's advertising reports, and the last advertising reports, let me say, and we spend a lot of money on Google in this account. The last click data was exactly the same as the data-driven model. That's all I'm going to say.
Huh.
Just going to leave it there.
That's not what I say. Google Ads usually looks a little bit better.
That's what I'm saying. This was an advertising report. So
Okay.
Google Ads, do you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
We
yep.
spend a lot bottom funnel. Data-driven, last click. Google's making money. No comment.
Oh, you should invest more in branded search, Jess.
And now for this week's
Cool tool.
As a reminder, our Cool Tool segment is not an official endorsement or paid mention. We're simply sharing something we found in our travels that may be of use to our listeners. And is really, really cool.
This week's cool tool is a PMax script, so let it rip, from Lucas Vizdos at 6 Clicks by way of Boris Beckerick on LinkedIn. Thank you for sharing. It's a Google Ads script that helps you analyze the impact of changes such as adding a new ad or adjusting target ROAS, budget, etc., detect errors in your campaigns, and even track the impact on PMax from adjustments you might have made in other campaigns, all by visualizing your data in a Lookstud dashboard. So you can set different look back windows, segment data by month, week, day. It's pretty awesome. It's a very nice output. There's a screenshot of it as well. It's just really nice for a high level view. The only caveat here is that it works on the MCC level, but the good news is you can specify which accounts you want it to run on. So it's not just going to look at anything. So agency people, don't worry too much. It's not going to look at everything. You can tell it what to look at. But it's free and it comes complete with a setup guide. There is some configuration you'll need, but it's got screenshots and instructions on how to configure that script exactly to get what you want. So it's great stuff. Team paid. Bookmark this. As always, we will have the link in our newsletter at marketingoclock.com/newsletter, as well as on Discord, community.marketingoclock.com. So pick your poison and check it out.
Now it's time for our must-read marketing article of the week. An article so advanced, so in-depth, so detailed that we simply cannot cover it in its entirety on today's show.
This week's must-read marketing article of the week comes from the one, the only, the Glenn Gabe from G Squared Interactive. Glenn writes the best blog posts on SEO. They are in depth. They have great results. It's Glenn. They're going to have that. But I think the thing he does the best is describing what the problem is. In his article called Disavowing the Disavow Tool, how a site owner finally removed a disavow file with 15,000 domains, stopped continually disavowing links, and then surged back from the dead, is a must read if you've ever even considered dabbling with the disavow tool. Glenn talks in depth as to how he thinks the disavow tool is going away. He's going to be right. He always is. And then a few things I like, just a couple quick quotes from there. He says, "It's important to note that many of these companies reaching out to me have never bought links, participated in any link schemes, etc. After I explain more about the disavow tool to these site owners, why it was created, when Google actually recommends to use it, hint, not often, my calls with those site owners often go eerily silent." And he's got an example talking about those 15,000 disavow URLs that were put through, and just showcasing what can happen after. He's not saying it is causation, but it is a pretty direct correlation with the bounce back. And if you are ever considering disavow tool usage, you need to read this while the tool still exists. So thank you, Glenn. Must read, gsqi.com. Go check it out.
And now onto our playlist of curated songs to work to, which you can find over at playlist.marketingoclock.com. What's going on the playlist this week, Greg?
I've been on like a tailspin of placebo since Jess recommended that on Friday. I've listened to basically 80% of my life has been placebo. So I'm going to go with Song to Say Goodbye by Placebo.
Such a good song. I've made so many dinners to that song.
And Jess, what are you adding?
I've also made a lot of dinners lately to Murder by Death, so I'm going with Rum Brave.
Oh, topical.
And I will be adding I Go, We Go by 2007. All right, that does it for today's show.
It is officially not Marketing O'Clock.
Thanks for listening.
We miss you already.
Can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Marketing O'Clock. If you're looking for more information on today's topics, head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every single article we covered. We share the news as it breaks in our Discord community. Head over to community.marketingoclock.com to join.
Welcome to Shootin the Heck, where after our famous Friday news shows, we don't talk about marketing anymore. We just
Shoot the heck.
And this week, we're playing everybody's favorite game, the game that y'all might be the worst at.
Oh.
Travel buddies.
No, you're bad at travel buddies. Y'all are worse at trivia. And we're doing summertime trivia. This week here in the U.S., we just saw the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. So we're going after summer trivia. This is not Price is Right rules. You can go over many of these questions. You have to get closest to the pin on. Okay, which summer month is believed to have the highest number of birthdays in the United States?
Jess.
Jess.
August.
Jess is on the board with one. Nailed it. Okay.
Because everybody's banging on New Year's.
What percentage? Wait, whoa. This is a family-friendly show. All right. Watermelons contain what percentage of water?
Jess. 80.
92.
Tables.
40.
Nicole is on the board. 90%. Okay. What year was the ice cream sandwich believed to be invented?
Nicole.
1904.
1904.
Okay, 1904.
Jess.
Jess.
1912.
Okay, tables.
I'm going to say 1940.
All right, it is 1899. Nicole takes another one.
Wow.
All right, new sport alert. Everything's a sport now. We've already talked about this. Every single thing could be a sport. Which year will break dancing be introduced to the Summer Olympics?
Can I get some clarification?
Yes.
Are the Summer Olympics this summer?
No.
Are they next summer?
Yes.
I'm going to say 2028.
Okay. Nicole.
I'm going to go 2024 next
On the
Olympics.
nose. Nicole has a 3-1-0 lead. Okay.
Wow.
In which year was the first beach ball invented?
Jess.
Jess.
1959.
Okay.
Nicole. 1876.
Okay. Tables?
1920.
So if 1920, Jess is the winner because it was 1938. So you're only 14 off. Tables was 18 off.
They had plastic back then.
Yes, they did. And they turned it into a beach ball, I've been told.
Love them for it.
Okay. In the annual Nathan's hot dog eating contest held in the summer, how many hot dogs did Joey Chestnut consume to set the record in 2021?
Jess. 169.
Okay.
Nicole.
Why'd you pick that number?
I like it. It's a lot of hot dogs.
All right. Nicole.
153.
Okay. Tables?
I'll go with 120.
Tables wins. It was only 76, which is a lot of hot dogs.
Wow, but that's not.
You have
That
like
doesn't
5
sound like a
minutes.
record number of hot dogs. I
You
could
have
eat that on a
5
Tuesday.
minutes to eat 76 hot dogs.
5 minutes?
Oh,
Yeah, you
I didn't.
eat
Well,
it-
yeah,
that
it would have
part.
been useful information for
You're-
us with our
Well,
numbers.
you know what the Nathan's thing is? They
I
put it
didn't
as a
know it was-
sport on ESPN.
I know. I didn't know.
I thought they
love
had like
it.
half
I
an
just-
hour.
Yeah, I thought they had more time.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up. ChatGPT, help me here. That's
Anyone
a lot of
can eat that
glizzies to
many
gobble
hot
down.
dogs. Glizzies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to eat the bun too, right? That's the problem. If
You
you could
dip
just
it in
eat straight dog,
water.
ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they dip it in water.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's
matter.
disgusting.
I
You have
just-
10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes.
Oh, that's not
That's
a lot of
still
time.
not a lot of time. I would have guessed lower had I known.
What object was used for playing a disc sport before the invention of the plastic disc?
Tables.
Tables.
A tomahawk.
Okay, incorrect. You didn't throw tomahawks at
Jess.
each other. Jess.
Plates.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
This is fun trivia. You can wow some people this holiday. There used to be a pie company called Frisbee's, and they would take the Frisbee's pie tin and use that, and that's where the name Frisbee, like Kleenex for tissues, was
Became the
created.
generic name.
Wow.
Yes,
And
okay.
the pies are no more, but we all know the name.
Jess, you are now tied with Nicole. We're going to keep this charade going here. Okay, ice pops were invented back in 1905. How old was the inventor of ice pops?
Nicole. 55.
Jess.
12.
Tables.
21.
11. Jess takes the win. The comeback summer queen. Sorry, I'm taking your crown, Nicole, and putting it right on Jess there. Thank you all for playing, and we will see you next week.